Hey guys, so today we have more updates regarding the whole Shane, Tati, Jeffree, James situation, aka Carmageddon, as named by many people, because it is the time of on YouTube where the people that wronged other people many times are now being wronged themselves. There are a few tweets, a few things to go through. There are a few bits and bobs, but before I get there, Instagram, Twitter, follow me on there. That's a really fun time. And second channel in description. Go watch some videos. If you run out of stuff to watch on this channel, then you can just go over there and watch some stuff over there. That's it. So let's get into it. There were some things, some updates, some things I want to talk to you guys about. So for example, there are some old tweets from Jeffree Star. For example, this one, which says, "Real friends support each other and don't see themselves as competition. The James Charles and Morphe palette restocks tomorrow. My Northern Lights palette launches on Friday." Like, so James Charles was not your competition. Then Jeffree also tweeted out in 2018 during Dramageddon 1 saying, "When people stay silent, they're guilty. Let that show you who someone's true character really is." Because he had an issue with like everyone when their tweets came out during Dramageddon 1 that everyone was staying silent because they weren't like apologizing for the tweets. And now who's staying silent? I think it's Jeffree. Even Shane, like even though the things he's saying are just completely out of order, at least he's speaking up. Like at least he's showing some kind of emotions, you know? Then there is a tweet from a girl, I'll put on the screen, where she basically says that the co-owner of Killer Merch, or like another person at Killer Merch, is telling Jeffree to cut Shane off, at least publicly, so he doesn't really want to kind of continue the business with Shane anymore. And apparently Jeffree and the guy, or the other employee, basically were like butting heads the whole time, and apparently the employees were asked to leave early because of them not being able to like agree on stuff. And that is someone who is friends with allegedly an employee of Killer Merch, but obviously that's like, we don't really have any proof for it, so it's kind of a he said she said kind of a situation. But I am wondering kind of what's happening behind the scenes, and whether Jeffree is planning on cutting Shane off, or if he's planning on defending Shane, or if they're planning a video together, or if they're planning videos separately. Are they planning legal action? Like, what is it that they are doing behind the scenes, and are they communicating? Has Jeffree reached out to Shane? Has Shane reached out to Jeffree? Is Jeffree planning on cutting Shane off? And you know, when Jeffree said that he co-owned Morphe, and then Morphe said no, he doesn't co-own Morphe, and I spoke about that in my last video. But essentially what people are finding really strange is the fact that only Shane's makeup was taken off the Morphe website, whereas Jeffree's makeup is still on the website. So the next thing is, recently Trisha Paytas has been speaking out about the Shane situation, the Jeffree situation. People were kind of hyping her up. She spoke about Tati and people kind of agreed with her and all that stuff, and people were like, oh my god, finally she's like making sense. And now she's posted all of these videos on her channel, which I think were all like maybe bits of a live stream or just stuff that she filmed on her phone. And she sings a lot. She sings Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On. She sings Gabby Hanna's songs. She speaks about her greasy face. She speaks about food. There is like a 1 second long video which just looks like she filmed herself by accident and then posted it. The thing is, the process of uploading a video to YouTube isn't just like Instagram or Twitter where you're like, here it is and out it goes. Like, there is a process to it, like a full few step long process. So like, she knows what she was doing. Some people think that she's on some kind of substances. Some people are thinking that she's going through a mental breakdown again. You know, there are many factors. Or she is just making fun of us because we fall for it every single time. Like, if she's doing this on purpose and she knows what she's doing, then props to her, I guess, because we're like all falling for it, you know? She spoke about Shane again, and she spoke about the fact that she doesn't respect that some people, and I think she was heavily hinting at Tana Mojo, that some people who had their careers saved by Shane are not doing the same for him. So recently Keemstar called out Tana Mojo for not standing up for Shane, and she said that she doesn't want to get involved. She doesn't want to take attention away from the stuff that is happening in the real world. And Trisha Paytas basically said that, she like quoted that and said that it's like bullshit, which I said I thought it was bullshit, because you can focus on two things at the same time. Just say that you don't want to defend Shane and go. Like, none of us are going to be upset at you for... I think Keemstar was the only person that brought it up. Like, I'd understand if Tana Mojo didn't want to defend him, because that's not something that I'd want YouTubers to defend. And Trisha Paytas just continued defending Shane, and she said that she would like take a bullet for him essentially. And I just think that's super destructive. You should never do that for people that probably wouldn't do that for you. Next, recently people called me biased because I agreed, or I believed Tati. I also get called biased for simply just putting out someone's stuff out there. Like, if Tati comes out with a statement and I talk about it, that's not me being biased or taking sides. That's literally just me talking about the stuff that she said and then expressing my opinions about it. And if my opinions happen to be biased, then maybe find yourself a different channel with different opinions. And also, opinions are not biased just because you don't agree with them. Like, the people commenting that do comprehend that, right? Like, I hope they do. Anyway, so there were some criticisms of Tati's apology, which I saw other YouTubers talk about, and I'm gonna them here just so it's not like I'm biased. The first criticism of Tati's apology has been that she messaged Shane Dawson a day before she posted the video, and she said that she thinks James Charles is going to commit suicide. And Shane Dawson said to her, he's a narcissist, he's not going to do it. And she put that out there as a statement to make Shane Dawson look bad. When in reality, that also makes her look bad, because when Shane said that to her, she still posted the video. So she agreed with it? I'm not sure, but that's a criticism of that statement. And I'm going to talk about that statement in a minute after I'm done with all of this. People had a problem, I think it was Smokey Glow, that said that she wasn't taking accountability, which I kind of agree with. She was definitely pushing more of the blame to Shane and Jeffree and wasn't really holding herself accountable. But at the same time, if she genuinely has apologized to everyone behind the scenes, like James, and I think it was someone told me that she had already privately apologized to Jackie Aina because Jackie Aina mentioned it while she was reviewing her palette. So I think she did most of her apologies behind the scenes, and this was more of a formality, just as like a public respect. And if she genuinely, after all of that, thinks that she's not really to blame because she genuinely thinks that she was manipulated, then there's only so much accountability that she can take. But the criticism is that it makes it sound like she's not actually sorry about the things she's done to James. She's almost just pushing the blame to other people, but I don't know how much I agree with that one. I really don't. Then there was a criticism from PewDiePie where I don't even know if it's a criticism, but he just said that he really hates Tati, and he's got his reasons for it. I think he just genuinely thinks that what she did was stupid, and yeah, no one's saying that it's not stupid, but at the same time there is a nuance to it where like different people react to situations differently. And I think we have, as a group, a tendency of judging everyone by our standards, when like just because you wouldn't be manipulated by someone doesn't mean that other people can't be manipulated by someone. But I think everyone has the right to their opinion. If he hates her, then that's perfectly fine. I'm not like, you know, not here to be Tati's security guard defending her from PewDiePie. And then another criticism, which I think was from PewDiePie as well, where he said that we are once again just taking Tati's word, because the first time around she made the Bye Sister video and we all took her word and we all cancelled James, and that was the thing that happened. And now she posted essentially a Bye Sister 2.0, and she once again hasn't provided us evidence, but once again people are believing her, which I guess PewDiePie said he has an issue with, because history is just repeating itself. And if it in a few months time comes out that she once again has exaggerated things, then we'll just be in the same spot again. So I guess what he's saying is like, calm down, relax until you actually see evidence, which I can get behind. I can definitely agree with that, because I just think sometimes people do really jump the gun. I just think, you know, people have the right to express opinions. If people believe Tati, they believe Tati, and if they don't, they don't, and both are valid opinions to have right now, mainly because there are no facts, so everyone's just kind of running on opinions, you know. The next thing I wanted to talk about, which I was speaking about to other people, and I said, in this whole thing, I am still very confused as to whether James Charles is guilty or not. Hear me out. So Blair White and many other people have heard the voice note from the alleged victim of James Charles. Tati has heard the voice note. She has now made up with James. So was the voice note not serious or believable enough for her to go back to being friends with James? Because would you realistically want to be friends with someone who is a predator? Not really, unless this is some big ploy to get James on her side, which that would be like manipulation 101, which I don't know. So did Tati, after hearing that voice note, genuinely not think that was true? Or does James have some kind of proof against that voice note that Tati saw, and that's why she believes him and not the voice note? But also, the way Blair made the voice note sound and the way Tati made the voice note sound are two different things. So Blair said it was like super like upsetting and like it was really serious, whereas Tati was like, oh, it wasn't enough for me to take action. So we're hearing different sides of things. People are now believing that James is fully innocent, and I don't want to jump the boat so many times. Like, I don't want to be swinging left and right. Matter of fact is, I've said this for the last few months. I've been saying in my videos anytime I speak about James Charles, is the fact that we know the public James Charles. We know what's being shown out there by him and by his friends and by people that don't like him, but we're seeing the public things. Matter of fact is, like, we don't actually know what happened behind the scenes. James Charles could fully well be a predator, or he could fully well not be a predator, and that's something that we just won't know. So at this point, I think there is this like big shift where people are completely disregarding any of the evidence, which like we haven't seen. So I do understand why people don't believe it. But at the same time, it must be, if there is a victim out there, it must be very difficult for them to come out because people are disregarding the voice note or the existence of it or the seriousness of it. So I'm just very confused about that aspect of things. I'm confused about the voice note thing because the voice note clearly exists, but why are different people reacting to it differently? I don't know. So the next piece of tea is Mar. Mar is a beauty guru who used to be friends with Jeffree Star, and she said she went on an Urban Decay brand trip where she was at dinner, and then they all kind of sat around and chatted, and it was her, Jeffree Star, and that girl Shayla on one like table, and some other people. And Mar basically just brought up, they were all bringing up like stuff that they want to get done, like Botox and filler and stuff, and she said she wanted to get filler in her lips. And that girl Shayla said that she basically just said like, yeah, you could get some in your like top lip, I think that would look really nice, and that was it. And then they kept on talking, and Mar never saw a problem with it. No one there really saw an issue with it. She was like, we were just having like an open discussion about things that we want to get done. And then later on, Jeffree tweeted out lots of times basically saying, oh, like that girl Shayla was basically like essentially just like body shaming and being very rude to Mar, and Mar never took it that way. So she messages Jeffree and she's like, hey, like thanks for defending me, but like I never took it that way. And then she goes to DM that girl Shayla, and Shayla already DM'd her and said, hey, like I didn't realize that you're really upset by what I said, and I didn't mean for it to come out that way. And she was like, I wasn't upset. So at that point, she's kind of thinking, is Jeffree actually like defending me because he genuinely thinks that what was said was rude? Am I like underplaying it? And then she's like debating if maybe she took it the wrong way and it was meant as an insult. And then they all like sort it out on the timeline, and now she has made this video to say that essentially she thinks that Jeffree was using Mar in that situation to get back at Shayla, because at that point Shayla and him already had some beef. And she was like, Jeffree never wanted to be nice to me or defend me or do it for my sake, even though he made it sound that way. He made it sound like he was doing it for my own well-being, but in reality he was doing it because he was using me as a weapon against Shayla. And basically Mar was like, he does this all the time. Clearly he uses people to his advantage. He uses people as props to further himself on YouTube and in just real life, and he uses people as weapons against other people. And this kind of, I guess, without Mar saying it, it kind of links to the Tati story, where what we're gathering now is that he used Tati as a weapon against James. So he never does the dirty work himself. He always gets someone else to like stir the pot. Mar also said that everyone has this like weird need to please him. She kind of went over that. She was like, whenever we were in like a big group, everyone wanted to like do everything to make Jeffree happy. And she was like, she never understood why, because at that point he didn't really have that much influence. But everyone, when they met him, they just really wanted to like make him like them. So they would do stuff that they weren't really okay with because they just wanted to make him happy and like please him, which is so strange. It's such a strange dynamic that that's the kind of person he is. But that also kind of links with what Tati said, because Tati said that Jeffree has a lot of blackmail on other beauty gurus, and maybe, just maybe, the blackmail was done by almost coercion. Like they didn't want to say things or do things, but because they had this like need for Jeffree to like them and not destroy their careers, they kind of just did what he asked them to, because they like, I think that's what Mar was coming at. Like I feel like Mar's video was a direct response to Tati's video, and all the stories kind of like linked together, but she didn't really speak about Shane at all. She just spoke about Jeffree. So it's more like Jeffree's side of things than Shane's side of things. Next, people really want Nate to come out and speak out. So Nate's Jeffree Star's ex-boyfriend that he's not with anymore, and people are wondering the kind of tea that Nate has on Jeffree, which, yeah, I think Nate probably signed some NDAs, but in most places, if you sign an NDA, you're allowed to still talk about things as long as they're criminal. So like, for example, if you're at a workplace and you sign an NDA and then they all do illegal things, then you're allowed to talk about it because it's illegal and they're breaking the law, not you. And I think then it becomes a criminal versus civil matter, where criminal will win because it's more about the public rather than like a personal matter. Civil matters are usually personal matters, and then criminal kind of affects everyone else, so criminal kind of takes priority. So I'm pretty sure in most places, if you sign an NDA but there are some criminal things happening, you're allowed to talk about them and go to the police because criminal outweighs the NDA. But I'm not sure if that's how it works in America. Let me know. But yeah, if Jeffree had done like illegal things, then Nate could technically probably talk about it. But if there was no illegal things, just petty stuff, then he can't talk about it probably. And I'm assuming Jeffree made him sign an NDA, because that would be really silly of him to not get Nate to sign an NDA, mainly with the stuff that he probably does behind the scenes. So then I said I was going to go back to the narcissism stuff. So in Tati's video, she said that thing about the narcissism, and then recently a clip of Shane with, you know, those like psychic twins came out, where he said that he doesn't believe that Marilyn Monroe committed suicide because she was too narcissistic, just like most celebrities, and he doesn't believe that narcissistic people would ever commit suicide because they love themselves too much to do that, because they want to see themselves like alive and thriving. And isn't that essentially what he said about James Charles? Like, that's why people are now believing Tati, because a lot of the things, if you look deep, the signs were always there, it's just kind of hidden and no one was really taking notice of it. And now that all the things are coming out, it's all starting to like link together, you know, 2 + 2 is 4. So now people are wondering, just to conclude everything that I put out there, now people are wondering what's going to happen from here. So Tati filmed her video, Mar filmed her video. The people that haven't spoken out yet are people from Dramageddon 1. So for example, Manny, Laura, Nikita, Gabriel. Nikita kind of put out some cryptic tweets, but that's about it. Bretman Rock and his sister are kind of like speaking out-ish. So Bretman unfollowed Jeffree and the sister tweeted things out against Jeffree, but no one's really like putting their side of the story out there. Now, there are more people involved in this. So obviously Shane's been doing the live stream when Tati released her video, and he did an apology video which kind of glossed over the most important things. Jeffree hasn't said anything. So like I said, people are wondering, is Shane going to film another video just going over everything, debunking Tati's video? Is Jeffree going to film a video where he's either, now I spoke about this to a different drama channel where I said Jeffree will either come at this really like victim, serious, like oh this never happened, blah blah blah, like trying to like basically get people to feel sorry for him, or he's gonna go full Jeffree, aggressive, expose everyone, show all the receipts, anything that he has. I'm not sure which side he's gonna take. If I was to take a guess, I don't know, I'd say he could possibly do like a little mix where he would be like, oh, like I don't know what Tati's talking about, guys, like you know me, you know I would never do this, and then like subtly put things out there that we wouldn't know about. But if the person that he's putting the subtle hints out there about saw it, they would know that he's talking about them. That's really confusing. But Jeffree tends to do that thing where he will say very subtle, petty things that, and we don't know who those things are about. But if that person was watching it, they would know it's about them and they're like scared to speak out. I think he would do more of that, where he will do like a video just saying like, hey, like here's all the receipts for me not like being an evil person, but also like do little subtle digs at people so he won't speak out. Do I think he could potentially release, I spoke about that in my last video, where I think he could potentially start releasing all the like blackmail slowly through other people. So like we just learned from Mar and Tati, Jeffree likes to use other people as pawns to go against other people, right? So like that's the thing he does. Now with the blackmail, I don't think he would ever come out and say it himself, because I think that would be like complete death to his career. But what we could do is give the information to other people, and then see how far it spreads. Do you know what I mean? Like give it to little drama channels or any like other channels that will speak about it, or tell it to people and see if they like spill and tell other people, you know, like just see how far it spreads. And I don't think he would do it directly. I don't think he would say it himself, but he would definitely spread it on the low. That's my opinion on it. Now, some people are also wondering if Shane is going to film a series about this. Like imagine, right, if Shane Dawson filmed a series about himself and Jeffree, like bettering myself, like you know how he made series on Jake Paul being problematic and Tana Mojo being problematic and Jeffree being problematic. If he filmed a series about himself, like start to finish, I feel like that's something he could potentially do. Like that's something that he would do. He would do like a very heartfelt, like going through my childhood and why I am the person that I am kind of a video, so that people feel sorry for him and regain trust for him and forgive him, because that's essentially what happens after every time that someone gets cancelled. They put out like a very heartfelt, like, oh, this is why I'm the way I am, and people forgive them even without seeing the change, if that makes sense. Like yeah, Shane hasn't made any disgusting kid jokes in the last few years, but I feel like that's too far. Like I feel like, you know, when people look at problems like when someone was 15 and said something really stupid, but since then they haven't said anything, and you're like, okay, yeah, they've clearly grown from this. But if you make weird like kid jokes at the age of 20, even if you don't make them later on, I think that's just too far. That's like something you can't really come back from. So people are wondering, where is this going to go? Who's going to drop another video? So like I said in my last video, let me just go over that. People are thinking Gabby Hanna's dropping a video because she deleted 40 million worth of views of her videos with Shane. And she also started like tweeting cryptic things, which people are now thinking was about Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star. Like she's afraid of them and she's afraid to speak out against them. So Gabby could be a good contender. Nikita kept on teasing a video that I don't think ever came out. Like, wasn't she teasing a video the other day? She's like, are you guys ready? We thought Brightman was gonna come out with something, or his sister, but that's kind of been debunked by his sister. I don't think Laura Lee and Manny Mue are gonna get involved. I don't think so. Like, Manny Mue still feels really uncomfortable, it seems, talking about Dramageddon 1. And Laura Lee is like a mother now. Like, I think she's way past this. She does like viral TikTok hacks and stuff with her niece. So I just don't think she's got the time or energy to do that right now. Who else could speak out against him, or any of them? Obviously Tati filmed her video. Nikki Tutorials, I want to see Nikki Tutorials post something, because I think she could have a lot to say. And I actually think Jeffree has blackmail on Nikki Tutorials. For some reason, I think there was like this big conspiracy in the community that Jeffree had tea on Nikki Tutorials. Wasn't that like a thing? Where he posted that Snapchat story and he was like, no one speaks out against me because I have receipts on all of them. Wasn't that a thing? Yeah, and recently obviously that voice note came out where Jeffree Star is calling Nikki the fat friend that no one really likes, and that she's like gone crazy because of the money. And she's recently been like liking really shady comments under her videos about Jeffree Star. So if anyone wants to come out with a video, it could be Nikki. Now, is Tana Mojo going to speak out about Shane? I don't think so. I think she's been in enough drama recently herself that she's not going to speak out and defend him. So she had that whole racism problem again, where Carlin came out and basically accused her of microaggression, and then people dug up a lot of tweets that were super racist from her past, and she has now like released an apology really late. Like she's been waiting a while to release that apology, and I think at this point she's not going to try and stick out of the crowd. She's not gonna like poke her head out into the drama, because if you get yourself involved in the drama will get itself involved with you, and people are gonna start digging stuff up about you, and I think she's just not gonna get involved with that right now. Who else could defend Shane? Right now the only person defending Shane is Trisha, and that's it. Who's defending Jeffree? No one. No one's defending Jeffree. Like I'm not seeing anyone big defend Jeffree, but that's also because he's not like speaking out. He's so silent. Like there's radio silence on his Twitter, on his Instagram, everywhere. He bought a car. He posted a video about it on someone else's channel. Like he was on someone else's channel, and that's it. But also, I watched that video on the Stradman with Jeffree Star, and he seemed so unbothered. And we know that that video was filmed recently. Like it's not like a pre-filmed video. Like that video was filmed literally the other day, where he was pretending to be with his grandma. Like he seemed so unbothered. It's actually crazy because Shane Dawson is having full-on mental breakdowns, full-on meltdowns, and Jeffree's like, oh yeah, let me just exchange a car, like having so much fun, taking pictures with my fans, baking cookies. Like he doesn't even seem a little bit anxious, like not even a tiny bit of stress. He's just like, yeah, just hanging out, just doing my thing. Is it maybe because Jeffree's got like a lot more money than Shane? So at this point he could fully just like, Shane could leave and live off the money that he has. Like I'm not saying he couldn't, but Jeffree has like other level money where he's like, I could leave right now and live a luxurious life for the rest of my life without ever posting another video again or selling a single palette, right? So at this point he just feels this like freedom of like, I don't have to excuse my behavior because at this point you guys have given me enough money where I don't have to apologize for things, and I can just go about my life without any apologies or holding myself accountable. But it's Jeffree Star's fans that did that. It's Jeffree Star's fans that put him in a position where he never has to hold himself accountable, because if hits the fan, he can just get out. He can just go and enjoy himself off the internet, matter of fact. So I'm just waiting for another video to drop. I'm waiting for something big to happen because I think something big is about to happen. I feel it in my bones. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below anything, comment down below, and subscribe because I post videos every time something happens. So that's a lot lately, so hit that bell, you'll be notified when that's happening. Social media links and second channel in the description, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.